Without further ado, let's go to Roger Stone in his war room in Florida, inside the battle for the Republic, outside the Trump campaign, but one of his top advisors, always giving us key intel on so many fronts. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Alex, it's great to be here, and it's an exciting time to be an American.
It is. Okay, you've got the floor, my friend. What is front and center? I know you sent us this article, the big casino owner, Adelson Age, in talks to set up pro-Trump super PAC.
Yeah, I think it's very important to recognize that Hillary Clinton, according to the most recent Federal Election Commission reports, has raised about $85,000 in super PAC money and has as much as 45.8 on hand today. And there's more where that came from. So Trump, of course, would be foolish to unilaterally disarm. But first, he must raise upwards of $1 billion through the Republican Party Victory Fund. Now, the very first fundraiser was very successful, netted about $6 million at the home of Tom Barrack, a businessman who runs a real estate opportunity fund, who's a close personal friend of Donald's. That's good. But if you go do the math, the party apparatus is going to have to raise that much every day on average. And of course, Donald Trump himself cannot do that many events, so he has to campaign. There is going to be a very interesting development. We have to watch fundraising carefully because it is crucial. Now, Corey Lewandowski is in charge, as I understand it, of the newly announced fundraising operation. It is absolutely clear that, like the Clinton campaign, the Trump campaign is going to need to be augmented with super PACs. We have talked on this program about the problems with Great America PAC, the financial irregularities, the longtime record of Ed Rollins, the chairman, as an anti-Trump antagonist, and now his ties to Teneo Strategy, which is the Clintons. I believe that good old Ed is a quisling, and this is a sabotage operation. There is a group called the Committee for American Sovereignty, a pro-Trump PAC with an august committee. I have sent them $1,000 personally. I know this fellow, Doug Watts, who runs it. He is a competent practitioner of political communications, and he is a real-life Reagan Republican. So I've sent him $1,000 from myself. But the news today really is that the billionaire Sheldon Adelson, who has pledged, according to Politico, $100 million to the Trump campaign, will probably fund neither of these entities and is in talks with a new PAC. What this story doesn't tell you is that among those political professionals that they're in discussion with is Karl Rove. Yes, Karl Rove is back in the House. Rove has been pitching Adelson to let him control the $100 million that is to help Trump. Now, I don't need to tell you that Karl Rove has done nothing but belittle, attack, and underestimate Donald Trump.
By the way, he lives right here in Austin. And I'm just going to leave it at that I happen to talk to a political person who's on record, works with Rove some. And he said, look, he's saying, you got to get behind Trump. This is last week. And he just laughed and said, no way. So I know last week he was saying he's going to get Trump. So that's some key intel for you.
Well, here's the other key point, and that is Reince Priebus and his friends at the Republican National Committee would also like to send $30 million worth of data analytical work to the data vault owned by Karl Rove and others. So Karl is now trying to profiteer. It is not just that he is a longtime antagonist and critic of Trump.
Well, he famously has gobbled up most of the Tea Party money. He's a hated creature.
And achieved nothing. The point is, we lost the White House under Karl. We lost both houses of the Congress. He then, in 2012 and the previous cycle, had unlimited money from mega wealthy donors. He's a loser. He cannot help Donald Trump. He doesn't know how. He didn't see the Trump revolution coming. He doesn't understand the new dynamics. If Karl Rove ends up getting wealthy off the candidacy of Donald Trump through the good graces of Sheldon Adelson or otherwise, that would be a tragic thing.
Well, sure. The mainstream media is saying, look, Bush Sr. and Jeb and former President Bush W. And Mitt Romney and others and the Keating Five, John McCain, they're not going to be at the convention. Oh, it's so terrible. Thank God these horrible warmongering demons that hate Trump because he doesn't want to have war with Russia and war with China, and doesn't want to let radical Muslims in. Thank God. If they were endorsing him, I would have some serious problems with Trump.
Well, but again, that doesn't stop their Quisling, their running dog lackey, from trying to cash in on a candidacy that he
Sure, but isn't that key intel that just last week he was running his mouth against Trump to high-powered Republicans here in town, and that when they were pressuring him, and so that just shows where he's at. He just wants to take the Trump money.
He's very definitely in the mix here, talking to Adelson, talking to some around Trump. We have to remember he is not a friend. He is the architect of many of the failed globalist policies that are destroying.
So you and I and our audience are basically Paul Revere's trying to help Trump not be infiltrated because of the fact that there are these political operatives out there.
Look, Donald Trump's a very smart guy, and he knows that Karl Rove is not his friend. But he's out campaigning every day. He's counting on his campaign apparatus to do everything legal to ensure that they raise as much money as they can. Super PAC world is a different place, and there are hucksters in the market like Rollins and his silent partner, Jesse Benton, the convicted felon who destroyed Paul's campaign and then Rand Paul's campaign. But I wouldn't put $1 there. If you really want to help Trump, then I would say either give directly to the Trump campaign, give to the Victory Fund of the Republican National Committee, or look at these other super PACs and determine which one has low overhead, competent people who know what they're doing.
Sure, because Hillary's going to be getting the big Goldman Sachs money and everything. It's up to the grassroots to be able to do this because Trump is such a grassroots organization. It's taken no money so far, and now it's starting to, because it's like saying you're going to go to space without oxygen. He's got to have the oxygen tanks, folks. It's got to happen if people are serious about winning. But Benedict Lewandowski, Corey Lewandowski, or is it Arnold Lewandowski? All I know is, what's his name again? I don't have a dog in the fight.
I think you're referring to Louis Korendowski. And anyway, Louis said again on Fox this weekend that he was in charge of vetting the vice presidential candidates. Nobody active in the campaign tells me that is the case. I do know A.B. Culverhouse, very able lawyer, worked for Ronald Reagan, who has been brought in to work on this process. But let me get to the bottom line. My confidence is in Trump. I know that the establishment Republicans are pushing Corker, and others may be pushing Newt Gingrich. And,
let's talk. We're talking VP now. Let's get into that.
Exactly. I'm putting my entire confidence in Trump. He knows, above all, that whoever he selects must be somebody who is at one with him on the major issues facing the country. And therefore, the chance of him taking someone out of the establishment, someone who would make Trump an assassination target for some who would, or others who would seek to enter his administration in order to co-opt it, Trump is way too smart for that. He will pick somebody who is a nationalist and entirely loyal to the president. So I'm not worried about some of the names I hear. My friends in the Liberty Movement and in the Republican Party email me every day. They say, oh, God.
Sure, well, let me throw out a couple here.
Please not Gingrich. Please not this one. Please not that one.
What about a Senator Sessions?
I like Jeff Sessions. I've known Jeff Sessions since he was in the Alabama Young Republicans and I was running for Young Republican National Chairman. He is a fine individual. He's an excellent lawyer. He was a great judge. He would be a great vice president. And he was the first man in the Congress to endorse Donald Trump. And I hope that Sessions is on the list. There are other fine people. I like Shelley Moore Capito, the U.S. Senator from West Virginia. Tough, experienced, not a globalist. I like General Mike Flynn as an outside-the-box possibility. All I know is that only Donald Trump knows what the real short list is. That those in the Liberty
Yes,
field,
Roger, we know you don't know the short list.
No. Look, I think the short list is probably, knowing Trump as I do, I think the short list is probably changing. I think he is holding this very much to himself. I think he floats certain names to others.
Well, I've watched the body language and everything else, and I can tell you right now, just watching television when he's around Sessions, the way Trump acts, he really likes Sessions. And I think Sessions is a good choice.
I think they have a great chemistry. But look, again, Trump is going to make this decision. He's going to make it with some fanfare and with some buildup, because he realizes better than anyone else that this is a great news story and it's going to generate great attention. And I suspect people are going to drop on and off the list. I doubt that he's made a final decision. I don't think he knows who he wants today. I'm sure he's leaning one way or another.
Sure.
But anytime
bottom line, I want to go to a few phone calls. You're going to be in here with us for an hour and a half live in studio Friday. Really gracious for you to come to the town. But before we go any further, just briefly, because folks are listening, what is the best PAC that it's actually promoting Trump and the Constitution and where the money actually gets there for folks in your view?
I have given a contribution to the Committee for American Sovereignty, and you can find them online. They have put together a list of retired military officers, including General McInerney, a former executive with the Trump Organization, Nick Ribis, longtime president of the Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts, former Congressman William Hendon, a number of state legislators. It is a very august. Phyllis Schlafly is on the committee, for example. There it is. These are fine folks. I am not working for them.
I understand. You're simply trying to get Trump into office under your First Amendment.
But I know that they will not steal the money, and I know they will use the money either to register new Trump voters or to fend off the attacks of Hillary Clinton.
And what's the website for that?
It is the Committee for American Sovereignty.com, I believe.
Yeah, man, we'll check it and put it on screen. It's on screen there, folks. There you go, because there's so many groups out there that you've said were a fraud, and then people get indicted. I mean, you really are giving us accurate information here. We're going to skip this network break because this is so important. I want to be able to take calls before we've got to leave us. But just watching today, the story's up on Infowars.com. Trump whips press over charitable donations to vets. That's a good headline, but I'd say blast. I mean, he just blast them. Don Salazar turned out this article quickly. I will say that the press should be ashamed of themselves. I couldn't pull myself away from this press conference. I'm going to play some clips coming up at the bottom of the hour. I've got some guests popping in. But, man, just trying to even get money to vets, they attack him. They just can't let him look like he's doing anything good. It's so sick when these are the people that say nothing about the don't treat list that we know our military's been under for 6 years with Obama. Obama is killing the vets. These people cover up for it, cover up for Hillary and her Brian Williams stories about sniper fire, but then they go after Donald Trump. I mean, what a sick, filthy group of people.
Well, Hillary Clinton said very recently that the problems in our VA hospital system are not widespread. What planet is this woman living on? In Arizona alone, where the ranking Republican on the Veteran Affairs Committee, Senator John McCain, lives, over 600 people died waiting for medical care in the VA.
Joe Biggs has been blown up in armored vehicles repeatedly, shrapnel shot, you name it. He coughs up blood all over the place. He's got all these medical issues. He's been there 30-something times, and they just each time say, come back, come back, come back, till he gave up.
One of my cousins, 2 terms in Vietnam, Purple Heart winner, is told that he makes too much out of his meager retirement, and therefore he's not eligible for treatment.
Yeah, that's the new thing. That's the new thing. It's just insane.
So it's means testing for veterans, but not for welfare recipients.
I was reading in the Hill newspaper last week, the average illegal gets $17,000+ in welfare. The quote, migrants get even more than an actual Social Security recipient that's paid into it as a citizen. Who is running this country?
Well, I think that's all going to change under a President Trump. Let's go to your questions, because I love this part of the...
Absolutely. We're going to go to phone calls right now. We're going to go to, in fact, you did that great Reddit thing that was so popular. We're going to do more of those. I'm going to do one later this week. We're let's go ahead and will you guys pull that screen down? I can't read there. Sorry. I can't see the callers there.